Hello, and welcome to 33 Immortals. This game has taken my life for a pretty decent amount of time, but it is really fun, and I decided to share a basics video. There are currently, because it's in early access, there are currently only 4 weapons. There are the Daggers of Greed, the Staff of Sloth, Sword of Justice, and Bow of Hope. We're going to start off with the Sword of Justice. You have 3 basic attacks and 1 co-op special. You light attacks, then you have your heavy attacks. Then you have your special that's unique to your weapon. Afterwards, there's your co-op special. And we'll go over that when we talk about co-op specials. After that, there are the Daggers of Greed. The Daggers of Greed are unique as they are the only fighter in the game and are very fast, dealing a lot of damage in a short period of time, but dealing less damage than the Sword of Justice. You have your light attacks, as before. You have your heavy attack that's same as before, and then you have your special that's unique to your weapon, in which you leap and attack at an enemy. You also have your co-op special, and this one's unique. We'll talk about that when we talk about co-op specials. Afterwards, there's the Bow of Hope. The Bow of Hope also has a light attack and a heavy attack. However, its special is weird, as in instead of actually attacking an enemy, it retrieves your arrows, as you only have 6 to begin with. It also has a co-op special, that we'll talk over when we start talking about co-op specials. The last weapon so far is the Staff of Sloth. This one is the only weapon that naturally, passively gains its meter in order to actually do more heavy and things. You have your light attack, your heavy attack, and then you have Torpor, which slows down the enemy and allows you to get off more hits. Its special is also very useful. Now let's start talking about each one of these specials. Each co-op special has different effects. For the Sword of Justice, after 3 people go on the symbols and activate it, they gain shield, and that shield goes up in an amount for every empathy you have. Then we have the Daggers of Greed. This is the only co-op special, that only requires 2 people. And it gains more bone you gain 1 bone, or many bone, for every hit dealt between those 2 people. Then we have the Bow of Hope, which, once done, has a volley of arrows shooting directly up. Then there's the Staff of Sloths, that immobilizes every enemy caught in its path, however only goes towards the right. So if there's many enemies to your left, and you cast to the left, it won't cast to the left, it'll cast to the right. That is one very key importance. Now, the first area of the game that you have access to is called the Inferno. The Inferno has a very special boss. I'm going to talk over a video that I made a while ago. It's not a video, a recording I made yesterday of this recording. And I'm going to try and explain all of that. I will be playing Sword of Justice for that as well. And then when we reach the boss, I'm going to go over your role in that fight and your general role when we're doing this. So let's get into it. I do have this at 2 times speed, just so it's a little easier to keep track. But at the beginning of the game, I start fighting enemies with the Sword of Justice, and you can see your special activate there. It is a parry, and it blocks all incoming damage, unless it's line attacks, which you'll see at the boss fight. But basically, this is the more boring part of the beginning. As you can see in the bottom right, dust is filling up, and dust is basically the upgrading. Now I just grabbed a blessing. The blessing I got was invulnerable to damage, so any damage I would normally take, I don't. What I just entered there was the trial chamber, I guess you can call it. It's more of a torture chamber. And this is you have to complete 12 of these in order to unlock the ascensions in order to fight the boss. These are also a great place to get a bunch of dust, as I'm already maxed out here. For every maxed out dust, you can upgrade one of your 3 stats that you can see next to your health. This is basically just the first thing. I am parrying, and I am doing a decent amount of damage for most of these. So we're just like going through. So I'm going to bring this forwards a bit. Here. After we beat it, we go and upgrade at one of those dust spheres. I chose attack. Generally, for any build, I try to get attack to 10 or above. And then depending on what I play, I'll do HP next. So for like daggers and sword, I aim for HP afterwards. What I'm fighting right now is actually quite new. It's a new elite type variant, I guess. It's a lot harder. So it's a lot more difficult than it looks. Because I'm attacking this guy, I'm getting justice. That's the main way we get it from there. But back to that. Daggers and sword. After I get 10 attack, I will go for HP next. For the Bow of Hope, I recommend going for Empathy next if you're planning on beating the boss. And then for Staff of Sloth, I recommend going full attack until you're maxed out and then aiming for HP. You could also swap the HP for Empathy. However, I never get to the final boss whenever I do that. Also, this was during a time right after an event just ended, so there's still people playing in Inferno, which is good. So there's like different things you can get bones from, which allow you to heal and grab items. I opened up a chest a little bit ago, and there's also vases, and that's about it. There's chests and vases, and if you break the vases, it gives you less. There are chests. Some of the chests are sealed by elites, and those generally give you the better gear. So I'm actually going to move further down. To around the end. Near it, at least. So this was the one of the final torture chambers that we had to do. Or one of the chambers. After every round of chambers, being 2 rounds, this yellow glow happens, and 3 different attacks will appear. Either arrows dropping from above, spirals that chase after you, or bursts. What we're doing now is what's called an ascension. Ascension is basically just fight many waves of enemies outside of chambers in order to ascend and fight the final boss. That's the basics of it. So now I'm going to move to the final boss. After beating the final boss, well, after beating all the ascensions and everyone's loaded in, you appear here. This is where I generally reroll any common relics I have. But this is the final boss. And for this final boss in Inferno, its name is Lucifer. So we are currently fighting Lucifer. So what I can recommend is that tanks and daggers are close up to the heart and are dealing damage. Now, for the swords, remember, you can just sit there and parry any attacks he does. For the casting that he's doing right now, the last betrayal, I generally only have like 1 to 2 people up at the heart actually continuously attacking, because the rest of your party can just kill those enemies. But for daggers, you can actually time dodge rolls. Also, please use your zoom. The eyes glow, and you're able to see where it's going to hit beforehand. So that's a good idea. Now, for Staff of Sloth and Bow of Hope, down below the area is a good idea. For the Bow of Hope, whenever you get your co-op special, go beneath Lucifer and cast it there so it hits it like it is right now. For the Frozen Hate, everyone needs to be aiming for those blue cuffs. If not, you're gone. For your co-op special as a Sword of Justice, you should definitely be doing that more. For daggers, it doesn't really matter. And for the Staff of Sloth, you should be doing that whenever elites appear, or when he's going to do that. Because with the last betrayal, you can see a bunch of the Staff of Sloths are casting. At least I think so, because I'm up against Lucifer. Just doing my thing. But that's your rolls. He has 3 casting. He has the Last Betrayal, Eternal Sorrow, and Frozen Hate. For the Last Betrayal, you can zoom out and his eyes will glow red on where he's going to attack. So you can move out of the way before he attacks. I see many people die because they don't do this. For Eternal Sorrow, many of your teammates should be attacking these frozen tiers. If not, it's an entire screen wipe. That, for the Last Betrayal, is also screen wipe if they don't die, but that one's like the easier one. Then, for the Frozen Hate, the reason why everyone should be aiming for those cuffs is because they do so much damage, and it becomes a screen wipe if you don't hit that. And I don't mean like it goes the entire screen and then stops. It goes through the entire attack. If you get only 1 Frozen Hate casting, whatever Frozen Hate cuff is still standing, that area will constantly be having hands grabbing at the surface. You can see we just barely got the left one down. So you can see that this area is constantly under attack. However, this one, the one on the left, was just alternating between. That's the basics of what he can do. He also has a slam, and that's like perfect for you to parry whenever you're Sword of Justice, and is quite easy to dodge as a dagger, surprisingly. You can see how I'm comboing parries against parries against parries, because it's just that easy to do that. He also flaps his wings. You can see we didn't get all the internal sorrow, so it was a screen wipe. But he also flaps his wings, which can either turn the ground to ice or pushes you away. There's also his one-arm slam, which goes in one direction. And then there's those frozen pillars that, if you don't take care of, do area blast radius. There's also falling crystals, and when you have an orange circle above your head and you're attacking the heart, move out of the way or you're going to hit your team members. Because it's an AoE attack. Now, I'm not sure if I make it on this run. I'm not actually 100% sure. But at the end of the boss fight, there's a chest. If you have any co-op power that's maxed out, do it at there. It's not going to do anything, except for it will give you one of the rarer currencies. This is also, you become a little spark, and people can revive you from those little sparks. Which is actually very helpful. You can see I'm getting the shield, and now we're attacking back to the heart. You can see we're just aiming for the heart, because we're fools. And this is actually where I perish. So yeah, I don't make it this run. But at the end, there's a chest, and don't forget to pick up everything on the chest. There's also little runes you can pick up. But there isn't much to do with it. You can see how much damage it does, and that's the death. So I do want to go into my Staff of Sloth run. Real quick. So this is the ending part. Basically, at the ending part, we weren't great. There were 4 people left, and it was very, very difficult. We're back at the Ascensions. We're actually heading there now. Now, I'm also going to speed this up, because it is a little fast. So yeah, you can see there's only 3 people now, and we're just hurting all over. I'm checking the map because there's only 2 people here, so we can't do our co-op specials, but we're dealing damage. We're doing the best we can. However, you see that yellow flame on the edge? Well, that is a timer. If you're not able to beat the Ascensions fast enough, it will start to enclose. And it does a butt ton of damage. It is insane. You can see me and this one guy are just dodging for our lives and trying to deal as much damage as possible. But because there's elites that have a lot of HP, that's not really going to happen. You can see we've gone past halfway and we're really close. And we're the only 2 left now, because the other guy died. We're just going. And then eventually he will die and I will die. is about around, like, this area. You can see it's enclosing, and the other guy's already dead. You can see how much damage that does. Sadly, we did not make it, and we just perished. Sadly enough. But yeah, that happens sometimes. You just gotta accept it.